Have you ever said to yourself, I just can't get my act together. I should be better than this. What is wrong with me? I'm Dr. Wes, clinical psychologist and advocate for your well-being. How often do you get down on yourself because you're not performing at a high level, or at least the level of your expectations? Well, I've got a message for you. Don't be so hard on yourself. I mean it. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay to have an off day or two. It means that you're human. And in this session, I am going to help you to lighten up on yourself. As part of my training to become a clinical psychologist, I spent a lot of time counseling people who served in the military. On one occasion, a woman who was an officer in the Navy came to see me. She sat down across from me and tried to explain what was going on inside her life. She was struggling to find the words to adequately describe her condition. Finally, exasperated, she just threw up her arms and said, "I don't know how to explain it, Dr. Wes. I guess I'm just running low on awesome." There are times in counseling when people come up with the coolest ways of expressing what they're going through. When this striking naval officer said, "I guess I'm just running low on awesome," it stuck in my mind. She had not only effectively described her state of mind, but she was echoing how a lot of people think when they're down. I'm not operating at my preferred level of awesome, and that troubles me. In this highly competitive world, the message seems to come across that you have to be on top of your game all the time if you want to succeed. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. It's not even realistic. Believing that you always have to be on top of your game sets you up to be hard on yourself. And this belief gives you no margin to experience a less than stellar day. You have no margin for being fully human. You're operating on the premise that in order to succeed, you need to never have an off day, a day when you're running low on awesomeness. Here's why beating up on yourself is not the answer. It keeps you down longer. When you're having a less than stellar day, berating yourself for not being on top of your game is actually going to prolong your time in the doldrums, because now you're going to be throwing some extra bricks of shame into that backpack that you are carrying. Plunging yourself into a sea of disparaging self-evaluations will not energize you. Here's another reason why beating up on yourself is not the answer. It slides you towards avoidant behavior. When you criticize yourself, you are less likely to want to be around other people, especially people who have the appearance of being on top of their game. You are more likely to isolate yourself and avoid connection with others. Even for introverts, this is not good for mental health. Here's another reason why beating up on yourself is not the answer. Being hard on yourself makes it easier to believe that your efforts will never be good enough. So you'll be more likely to avoid constructive behaviors like stepping on the scales and weighing yourself, or getting your body uncomfortable, otherwise known as exercising, showing up to class, showing up to AA or some other support groups. When you beat yourself up for feeling down, you are being inhumane towards yourself. If castigating yourself was helpful, I'd say go for it. Knock yourself out. But it's not helping you. So stop it. Don't be so hard on yourself. And one more reason why beating up on yourself is not the answer. It puts your mind into fault-finding mode. When you're dissatisfied with yourself, it's so much easier to become dissatisfied with everything else in your life. If you find fault with yourself, it seems to switch your brain into a fault-finding orientation. And before you know it, you're not only down on you, but you're down on lots of things. Your current situation, your future, your opportunity, society, and the world in general. So you ask, how do I not be hard on myself? Number one, give yourself permission to be fully human. Your go-getter enthusiasm will sometimes hit a slump. This doesn't necessarily mean anything is wrong. Of course, if your slump is lasting for weeks or months, then reach out to somebody skilled who can help you figure out what's going on. But if you're having a few days when you're running low on awesome, then guess what? You are human. Welcome to the human race. Give yourself permission to slump it out, and don't compound the situation by being hard on yourself. Number 2. Be kind in what you say to yourself. When you're having an off day, the conversation inside your head can make all the difference. When you say, "Why can't I stay motivated? What's wrong with me? I'll never make it at this rate," you are delaying your recovery. Then what's the alternative? Say to yourself, "Well, shame is not going to help my game." Well, kind of corny, but it's true. I'm running low on awesome, but this is a temporary condition. Being down is permissible, but I won't make it permanent. I'm just passing through Downsville. No need to set up camp here. Or if you can't think of these, stick with a prescription from Dr. West and say these words. Don't be so hard on yourself. And number 3. Be a friend to yourself. If you had a friend who was doing it tough, what would you say to them? Well, you wouldn't say disparaging things to them, that's for sure. If you did, you could hardly call yourself a friend. You would say something or do something kind, something thoughtful to lift their spirit. So be a friend to yourself. Instead of criticizing, you be a friend to you. Do something that uplifts your spirit. Now, some of you might be thinking, "Hey, Dr. West, all of this be kind to yourself sensitivity stuff sounds lovely, but sometimes I need to give myself a big kick in the rear, slap myself out of a self-indulged mood." Well, I'm an advocate for challenging ourselves, but challenging yourself should never involve self-criticism. You need to challenge yourself in a way that does not disparage you for being human. There is a definite line that you can cross where challenging yourself becomes being cruel to yourself for what is a natural experience of life. You can't be awesome all the time. Thinking that you always have to be on top of your game is a fundamentally flawed expectation. Trying to live up to that expectation adds unnecessary burden to your journey, and it will extend your time in discouragement. If from time to time you find yourself running low on awesome, that's okay. It just means you are human. So don't be so hard on yourself. I think you'll find it makes a difference. This could be good for you. I'm Dr. West, and here's to making life better.